There, we are live. Welcome to Talking Crit. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me, as always, every Wednesday, my better half,
Mm,
Bad Mike. Yeah, all right. Well,
yeah.
my better. Listen, you're like my work spouse when we used to
My name
call
is
it.
Bad Mike, so I'm not your better half.
All right, you're my
Uh,
worst half, but listen, you can't be any worse than my hair. I have such COVID hair; it's
yeah,
disgusting.
what's going on up there? Holy moly! I have mine cut down to its number one. She
But
does
I
a number one
shaved.
show. Yeah.
I,
I
I,
did
I did.
too. I shaved this week too. I shaved, and I'm doing throwbacks. South Padre Island. I had this shirt on during some of our
Oh yeah, you
November
did.
shows. Yeah,
See now, because of today's topic, let me see if I can.
I can't see it. Oh, there we
There,
go. Oh, that's our Frog God work shirts that we haven't worn since the last convention we worked. I've got
that's right.
mine in the back of the closet still, waiting for us to work another convention at some point.
Go figure. Go
Hello,
figure.
Bree. Hello, Randall. Randall.
Yep.
Yeah, I was doing a flashback today because my wife and I are making plans to go to South Padre again this November for another month, which we did the show while I was in South Padre. It was fun. I had the beach behind me. Maybe this time I'll get a shot of what the scenery looks like behind, which is pretty amazing. So I was feeling nostalgic.
Cool.
I was feeling nostalgic. I thought I'd put this on. I also want to see if I lost weight too, because I know I've been on a Whole30 diet this month. I have lost a few pounds, and you know what? This shirt does kind of fit pretty good. You know.
All right. See, I just have an issue with shirts with the standard collar. So I either like V-necks or something with the open neck because I just it drives me nuts.
We get older, and I've noticed this about myself. I like to wear certain clothes, and I'm doing that old man thing now where I've literally got a rotation of like 4 pairs of shorts and 10 shirts. And my wife has been begging me to open it up a little bit. So I did go to the back of the closet, get another pair of shorts I haven't worn in a while. They fit, so I have lost a little weight. They did fit. And then I went to the back of the closet to grab some different shirts because she's tired of seeing Gary Con shirt, Gamehole Con shirt, a North Texas shirt, 2019, whatever my rotation of 10 shirts is. My 4 pairs of stretchy pants that I wear. Yeah, she's had enough of that. She's getting a little tired.
Well, yeah, I have my my shorts to drive in, which when I'm not, and since I only drive like a couple times a week for like an hour or two for an appointment or whatever, it's like you take them and you put them right back. You hang them back up, leave the belt on.
They're not dirty.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, no. And then you have your walking around your house shorts, and you have the walk the dog shorts. So that's my rotation.
Very old man. Yep, we're getting to be old man. Yeah, it's definitely old manish. There's one guy across my street that does the yard. He's an old guy, probably 10 years older than me. He wears the exact same clothes every time he does the yard. He has a pair of long pants and a shirt that he wears every single time that he does the yard. I'm slowly drifting towards that, where I'm just going to have, my 4 pairs of shorts, probably 8 shirts. I think my rotation is about 8 shirts. Hello, Greg.
Yep.
Mr. Gillespie is gracing us with his incredible presence.
As long as he doesn't grade us, he can grace us. Just don't grade. No grading, please. I don't want no grading.
Well, leading up to the show, I had an extremely productive week, and I am very excited about some of the projects that we'll talk about later that Eric and I have in the hopper. But what led to these projects is the subject of our show. We've been waiting. I was waiting to get my set before we did this, and due to my own stupidity, it was only my fault. I forgot to fill out the backer kit for this, and I didn't get it. And so we said, well, we're waiting for me to get a copy so I can join Eric in looking at the copy. We're going to be talking about Swords and Wizardry box set that came out this year. And and so building off of that, we had Torchlight, which came out a couple weeks ago. And how is Torchlight doing?
Torchlight. Let me look at the current
Let's see some
stats.
Numbers. Let's hear some numbers.
Let's go to the videotape. We have 173 copies of Torchlight issue number 1 that have been sold in PDF since last Monday. In addition to 11 copies of Torchlight's premiere issue, that was like if you're a comic book collector, that would be
issue 0 or whatever.
The Ash Can issue.
Yeah, Ash Can.
And Swords Wizardry Continual Light sold 13 copies. So
nice. And so,
it's nice when you can say like, hey, I was able to pay creators, and looks like not only that, I won't lose money. I'll make a little bit to put into the next project,
right?
And that feels good. So,
and I just noticed
silver.
Oh yeah, I just noticed we don't obviously we don't have a guest this week. I guess we could have brought in somebody, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about. Next week we're going to have Jeff Talanian. He's going to be going in the last few days of his new Hyperborea Kickstarter, and we're going to talk to him about that. And yes, I know we just had Jeff on in February, but we just are not in February, May, but we love Jeff. We would have Jeff on like every other week if we could.
Yeah, he's like a man crush
because he's awesome. He's one of our man crushes, along with I've got my Greg Gillespie man crush, my Jeff Talanian, my a few of those guys. Always Alan Hammock probably I would have Alan Hammock on all the time, but
okay,
yeah, but so we'll have Jeff on next week, and we don't know past that. I don't know. We haven't thought anything past that. So
no, we always find out. And we are introducing a new segment to the show, and it isn't really a new segment. Just never had a title before, but now we're going to title it. The second half of the show is going to be This Week in RPG Stupid.
You already told me that, and I still laughed again because it's so funny.
And okay, so this is when we bring up we used to call it, what did Wizards of the Coast do this week? But
it's more encompassing. It's more it covers more.
And it's not like everything that we show or we maybe even play an audio clip, which I'll be doing tonight. The people that we are highlighting aren't always the ones that are stupid, but they are talking about stupid. And we have a lot of stupid going on.
And by the way, we don't punch down unless it's really stupid. I mean, we're progressive people. We punch up. We'll punch up. That's why we punch up at Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. But we'll punch adjacent or down if you do something really stupid.
Yeah.
We don't. We'll punch down. We'll punch down on you. Sorry, if you do something that's just really dumb. We have no compunctions about punching down on you. So. Hello, Richard. Okay, so Lou, I got a bone to pick with you because Lou posts Dandelion Games. That's Lou, right? That's Lou. Dandelion Games. That is. Lou posted that wanted to know if we were having a show this week because he missed last week's show. Lou, we've had a show every week since I want to say last August, but it might have been probably
last. We missed the Wednesday in August when I was hospitalized at the end of the month.
Right.
But other than that, no, we.
Let's say the first week of September. First week of September, we have not missed a show since September.
Right, and I'll be honest with you. If I'm crapping at my bowels, I'll just kill the camera, let Mike talk, do what I got to do, and be back. I'm not gonna. Come on.
I've done that on the show before.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. I haven't done it yet, but you know what? It might happen tonight.
Who knows? I'll carry it. I'm okay. I can carry it.
Okay, because we had
pub lunch there.
No, we had pub lunch. But I had a salad. No, I was good.
Okay. Well, salad.
Yeah, I had my avocado salad.
Very.
I
love me some avocados.
Very nice. But no, I had Chipotle for dinner. I had the burrito bowl, which is nice, but it might go through me. And if it does, I'll just kill the camera and go, Mike, you got 2 minutes.
By the way, also as part of our show, we're giving away a copy of the adventure Stoneheart Valley Frog Eye Games. I'm also going to throw it in by the great Ken Spencer, Death in Painted Canyons, and a copy of Swords Wizardry Light. So I'll be mailing these to anybody in the continental United States. If you win and you happen to not be in the continental United States, I can send you a PDF. I can't mail it to you, but we'll figure out. We'll probably do something screwed up to figure out who. Are you counting everybody, Eric, so we can roll a dice or something? Because we've already got a bunch of people on here tonight. So because Stoneheart Valley is a great beginning campaign for Swords and Wizardry. So if you had the Swords and Wizardry box and you had Stoneheart Valley, you're absolutely set. And plus Death in Painted Canyons, you're ready to rock and roll. You can have a really, really long campaign. just with that stuff right there. So we're going to do that. But this is something we, by the way, tonight's show is sponsored by Bullet Rye. Still have never got a sponsorship by any of the whiskey companies I've pimped, but one of these days, you never know.
It might happen one of these days, but
probably not.
Probably. Well, you know what? Maybe when we hit 1,000, we become relevant.
And by the way, we're at 922. I think I saw today.
924. Right
wow,
before I logged
we're
in.
very close to 1,000, which means Eric's pretty much in the bag for having to sponsor Room next year at North Texas, and we are giving away some more prizes also if we hit 1,000.
We hit 1,000 and giving away another $500.
Oh my god, that could be that could be 2 weeks.
It could be. I think most likely it's going to be mid-August. We're probably about unless we have a huge surge, which can always happen. I'm expecting that we're going to, about a month from now.
Matt, the whiskey was in the plastic cup mixed with a little bit of Diet Coke for flavor because I feel it's a little gauche to just drink straight from the bottle. I mean, if you guys want me to, I will drink straight from the bottle, but this show would be very short as I passed out and Eric had to go solo as he's pooping on the throne and I'm passed out from whiskey.
I gotta put my AirPods on so he picks up the mic here. Nobody wants that.
Be like that scene in Leslie Nielsen movie where he has to go to the bathroom. He doesn't unhook. Yeah. That's great stuff. All right, so anyway, so the Swords Wizardry Box Set. Something that Frog God Games has been wanting to do for years. COVID pushed it back a little bit, but it finally came out this year. It's absolutely beautiful. It's we have 2 versions. This is what's called the collector's version. We based it on the old brown box. As you can see, it's got it looks very much like the original OD&D brown box as a tip of the hat to the original set. That we also have. What we call the regular set that has the really awesome Michael Sirgos art in there. I've got one of each. I just brought this one up today though. So we're going to talk about that because we're very excited at Frog Eye when this came out. I was excited to get it. It looks great. It's one of the one of the best gaming items I have received. The idea was great. It was that we wanted to have a box that we could put everything in, and that way, if you wanted to go to a convention or a game, you just pick this box up and everything's in there.
Right.
You don't have to have a book and this and a folder and a screen and throw it all in your big, giant laundry basket or whatever you bring. So yes. Hello. Oh, hey, Steve. Steve Hartline's there. Joins us from Texas. That's where I'm at right now. Texas. Matt and Tim. Oh, we got a bunch of John. We got a bunch of people on tonight. But yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about this. I talked to Zach Glazer this week. I thought about having him on the show. Then I thought, nah, and I really don't like that guy. So I thought, no, I don't really want him on the show. But no, just kidding. Love Zach. But we just thought we would just kind of talk about this as 2 people that, as you know, that Eric and I pimped for Swords and Wizardry. I mean, Eric created Swords and Wizardry Lite, which is a 4-page version of the rules, which by the way, I still have copies of. You can download it from the site for free, Frog Game site for free. Has everything you need to play the game right here with only 2 dice, a 6-sided and a 20-sided. And I love any kind of OSR game. I don't know what my favorite would be. I really like Swords and Wizardry a lot. There's some things I don't like about Swords and Wizardry. If I had my druthers, I'd probably just go ahead and play BX because I have the rule books. And the funny thing is I've actually never run a Swords and Wizardry campaign. I've run the game quite a few times. I've actually never ran an actual campaign. I've actually ran a Swords and Wizardry Light campaign. I've done that before for my grandkids. They loved it. But when I got this, I thought it's one of those things you get it and you're like, man, I want to run this out of the box. Yeah. It's so cool. You want to sit there and roll up characters and find some guys to actually go and play with you. And it's just amazing that it took this long for us to come out with something this cool because we were just going to do another reprint of the rules. So we have, I want to say there's 3 main versions of the hardcover. And we were just going to reprint the hardcover. We had the last one being the Otis cover. That was, I guess, that's considered the third or fourth print.
Well,
the Stacy one was the third print, right? Or was that the second print?
Stacy was the third print. Here, first print was the green
Peter Mullen cover.
Peter Mullen cover.
Yeah.
The second print was the blue Otis cover. Third print was
the Stacy cover.
Stacy
actually, it's not her cover, but
I don't even know who did the artwork on that one. The bush.
Yeah.
On fire.
The burning bush.
The burning bush. Yeah. And then the fourth print was really a reprint of the second print.
Yeah, it was just the Otis cover. There was another one. It's kind of a brown cover. It's got like a Cthulhu monster coming out of a sewer or something. It was very short printed. Yeah, I have a copy on it somewhere. It was very short printed. I think I want to say that was the second printing of it. It was extremely short printed. It's very hard to find. You might
have to.
You might pull up a cover of that. But we were just going to do another print, and then the powers that be got together. Myself, Matt Finch, Pex, Zach Glazer, and we wanted to do something different. I mean, and rather instead of just making another cover, we also had some input from Jim Wampler at the time, and we all had this idea of let's do a homage to the original OD&D white brown box with the booklets inside, and then we got the idea like, hey, if we make supplements to go with this, they can also be digest sized and also go in there. And then it's just like from there we're like, oh my gosh, this is a great idea, and everything just flowed from there. We wanted to have new artwork on there because we had been reusing artwork up to there, and we'd also been using older artists like Eric Saragosa's stuff on the covers of the books. And I mean, if you love, I think he's the godchild of Frazetta. His stuff has such a Frazetta vibe. I just love his stuff. And so we did Michael Sarago's covers. There's a lot of new artwork in here. There's some stock art and stuff too, but most of the stuff is incredible. So if you pull it open, it's a 4-volume set. You have the player book, monsters, referees, Swords and Wizardry, or Swords and Magic. They all have Sarago's covers on them. I got to get used to holding it like this. Yeah, there we go. I love this cover. One of my favorite covers right there. Referee. And then, so they all have Sarago's covers. Beautiful books, all slick. And this is everything you need to run a whole campaign. It's got everything that the original hardback cover rule book had in it. It's just been divided up into different books, which I actually like better than having to flip through the book. I enjoy having... Yeah, it's very modular. You have obviously the player book has all the classes in there. We stuck with all the classic kind of OD&D and 1E classes. You have everything you need to play, and one of the cool things about I was talking about earlier about supplements. One of the cool things about the box. Now, if you notice, the box, it has a lot of room in it. Even with the 4 books in it, that takes up about that much. There's a lot of room left over in this book, and that is absolutely intentional. That's so when we start coming out with supplements, they will also fit in the box, and you can throw in whatever supplement you need. We're envisioning having supplements, let's say a book of spells, more monsters, a book of character classes. We're having some like planet books or books about different settings. Those will all be able to go in there, as will not just Frog Gun publications, but third-party stuff. We're encouraging people to print their own digest-type editions, put them up on drive-through, have a print option. You can also toss those in there. So we have the 4 books. We've got a set of dice, because you always got to have a set of dice, right? I mean,
But dude, they don't have TSR on. They're not worth anything.
These are official TSR dice. Cute little bookmark. Look how cute it is. It's a little bookmark. A letter from our great leader Matt Finch saying how much he loves you for buying this shit. I'm just kidding. A little pad of character sheets, which I think is pretty cool. Yes, I like this a lot, and that's what most. They're big enough you can actually see them. And we'll get. By the way, the seeing thing we're going to get into later. And my one single negative about this set, and why I would not use it to play if I play Swords Wizardry. We'll get into that later. But this is very nice. Has all the information you need right there. It's a little pad. You can run photocopies of those.
John Miller, remind us about your Necromancer Games Kickstarter question. after we cover this part.
We're gonna talk about that too. So we also, what I got with is this little thing called an accessory pack, which you can also get separately.
Yeah, I got that too.
Oh, the accessory pack. The accessory pack is actually really nice. So what you have in the accessory pack is you have a very, very nice DM screen. It is hard. It's hard. It's hard.
See, this is my second copy. This is the one that goes to Joe the Lawyer. So this Joe watches this. You get this in a week and a half.
It's a great Syragos art in there. It's got all the player to hit tables on there, all that good stuff. The attack tables. You also comes with more monsters because you need lots of monsters. You always need more monsters. So we have more monsters. Another, how many pages? Another 24 pages of monsters. And for those of you who, like myself, have a love affair with Matt Finch, a Matt Finch adventure, Baron's Gambit. Matt does not write enough adventures anymore for All God Games. His stuff is just great. He's probably one of the best OSR writers you have around. So he wrote a little introductory adventure for first and second levels all through. So that's what you have in the box. You have everything you need to play. You've got dice, you've got character sheets, you've got all the rule books, you've got a screen, you've got lots of monsters, and you've got an adventure. You have everything you need that you could possibly think of is in this box. What else do you have here? You also have, if you...
You're muted, Mike. Mike, can't hear you. Mike is experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. Mike.
Okay,
Mike.
Sorry, I got excited.
You did it again. This is like the second time. We're gonna have to find new buttons.
So anyway, so everything is in here. It's nothing different than was the hardcovers, except there is some newer information in here. But everything you have in here to play old school D&D, if you like first edition, if you like basic, if you like OD&D, this should be your go-to game. We're not old school essentials. Old school essentials is kind of a different. Old school essentials is more if you're, I guess, a basic guy, right? That's more of a basic D&D guy. This is more if you're a first edition or OD&D, TSR kind of guy.
It's first edition if you. How we pretty much played it without all the fiddly parts that Gary threw in, like weapon speed and armor AC adjustment for weapons. Like what the? Yeah, it's with air segments. That stuff has been jettisoned. No, which we jettisoned after our first year of play, after trying to play by the book. But and
then for those who don't know, that this is basically an OD&D clone with a lot of first edition stuff thrown in. For instance, because the
supplements. It's the original supplements. It was in the original supplements. It likely made it into Swords Wizardry Complete.
Right.
That's why there were 3 versions initially. White box.
Because you have the assassin, you've got the druid, you've got the paladin. These were all later on. You got the ranger. I believe you have the monk too. You have I believe the monk is in here. Monk's in here, right?
The monk's in there. There's no bard.
Yeah, monk's in here. No bard.
No bard. That makes me sad.
But
that's why I'm going to be working.
That's why you stay tuned. Stay tuned because we're going to have supplements later on that cover all this stuff. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask us, and Eric and I will answer. I enjoyed the whole thing. I'm going to tell you the one thing I didn't like about this, and the one reason I would not use this in actual gameplay is the font is very small. And that is my one single negative with this. Without my glasses on, I cannot see the font. Without my glasses on. With my glasses on, I can see it, but I'm doing one of these where I'm kind of having to look for stuff.
I can actually, I can read it without my glasses. It is not comfortable, but I can do it. But you're not the only one who said that to me. Somebody else in our age bracket, Joe the Lawyer, said the same thing.
Of course Joe did.
Joe was like,
well, because he's our age.
I love this, but because I can't fucking read it. And he probably needs like Rachel's like magnifier, the reader that you put on top of the page.
That would be good. You know what? That's a great idea. By the way, Bob, there are no gnomes. For those you don't know, Matt Finch hates gnomes. He hates gnomes. He is a gnome hater. Matter of fact, we give him hassle all the time by mentioning gnomes. For those who were at North Texas Midnight Auction this year, we had a game about gnomes that somebody had crossed out and put Swords and Wizardry demo set on it. And if you looked at the audience, Matt was not laughing at all. He didn't think it was funny because he hates gnomes. So there's no gnomes. But like I said, to come, we're going to have books on races, classes, all kinds of stuff.
So gnomes could be in the future. All right.
I'm going to tell you right now that gnomes, I'm going to say it will happen because I have some secret knowledge because I'm a stockholder in Frogner Games, 1%, stockholder, and I am privy to some projects, and we have a project coming out from the great Ken Spencer that I'm allowed to talk about. I got permission from Zach that gnomes are going to be on the horizon. So gnomes will be on the horizon along with some other character classes. We have a couple of supplements. One is a settings book. One is going to be a combination class. It's going to be like a potpourri. It's going to have new classes, monsters, races, all kinds of stuff. Just kind of like, hey, here's a bunch of extra stuff you can add to your game. And that's just the beginning. We have a lot of supplements coming out after that. And Eric and I also we have some things to add to that also because we love the digest format's awesome. We love digest format. And the great thing about this box, it pretty much can fit any kind of digest fanzine type thing. So if you want to throw your own digest fanzine in there, it'll fit in there too. Like I said, there's a lot of room left over in this box, and the boxes are very sturdy. They're unlike the boxes for, say, what was the guy's name? Adams that had the Swords and Wizardry white box. And that thing,
John Adams, yes.
John Adams. And that thing, if you blew on it hard, the Brave Halfling box would
oh my God, the corners. I got the and we didn't know what was actually going to show up in your box. I ordered 2 boxes. Wound up giving away one of the 2 of my friends of my group, and one came without the adventure that was advertised as being part of it because you just don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
But those boxes are fairly expensive on Noble Knight.
They go for quite a bit. They really do, but they were very poorly made, and unfortunately, most people that get boxes made, they cheap out. We were very particular about how thick we wanted the box and how sturdy because we wanted it to be something that people could carry around to game sessions holding all their books in it. I'm happy to say this thing is very sturdy. I think it's on the par of the old Avalon Hill boxes, actually probably a little tougher than those. It's very, very sturdy.
I would put it right there too. Now, John Miller had a question or statement. There's no illusionist in Swords and Wizardry. That is
no
correct.
Illusionist, yeah.
However, if you go back to the first Swords and Wizardry Appreciation Day, somebody wrote an amazing illusionist class. If you think you can probably still find it with the Google search. If not, remind me. I'll see if I have a link on my blog somewhere.
John Harding asked, what will the pretext for including my race of classes that aren't in the original box sets? I guess whatever you want it to be, John. I mean, I don't know what you're asking there. You can obviously, if you're running your own campaign, you do whatever you like, and that's the great thing about Swords and Wizardry and really almost all OSR games is they're so seat of the pants. You just do what you like to do. If you wanted to, let's say you thought you wanted to have a game campaign based on your own. Let's say you wanted to do your own house rules, and you wanted to do your own house rules up in a little digest. That's what's great about this thing. Print out a little digest with your own house rules in it and throw it in there. I remember Austin Jim. He ran a campaign called I don't remember the name of his campaign. Sparn, the World of Sparn, and his books were all digest shaped, and they kind of had his own basically house rules in them. That Sparn supplement will fit in here perfectly. You could throw that in there and you could run Austin Jim's campaign. Well, anybody could do that. I could have the World of Bad Mike printed up as a 24-page digest and then throw it in here. And then I have my own set of rules in there. and that's what the great thing about the box and the digest format.
Yeah. Again, and the box, to me, listen, I am theoretically working right now with the most organized man in gaming, but I'm probably somebody less organized than Mike. So the advantage to me moving my desk to our living room, having a small desk here, is I have less room to lose shit on. I had an L-shaped desk in the other room, and I can't find shit on it because I have shelving units I have on the desk because I have so much shit. So this forced me to be a little bit more organized in what little space that I have, and it's still a bit of a disorganization. So having a box set is awesome to keep that in line. And Mike has already said, we have things planned.
Why don't you talk about some of the things we have planned too? Because I'm extreme. I'll tell you, and after Eric tells you, I'll tell you how excited I am about these plans.
So we have Torchlight, now the zine. We're going to hopefully, maybe in time for ShireCon, get a limited print run going. It should be definitely in time for Gamehole in October. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be in print, a digest-sized zine, issue number 1. We're going to have Swords Wizardry Continue Light. Same format. Maybe, crossing fingers, in time for Gamehole. Swords Wizardry Continue Light is basically Swords and Wizardry, but stripped down to a D20 and a D6. The XP is stripped out. It is a streamlined gameplay, but this new edition of it's going to include micro setting and an adventure by James Bond and a brand new cover from James Shields. So I'm excited. Real professional layout. So even more exciting, right? It can't beat that. But we have another project that we are working on right now. Mike has taken the reins on that one. And once we get it up and running, we have the first, I don't want to call them issues, because it's basically a 4-page zine that's just a micro adventure or a small adventure. And everyone, I'd like to see us have 4 to 8 already in the hopper before we start releasing. So when we come out of the box, maybe put out one a week on drive-through. 4 pages plus a page for the OGL, which you don't have to print out. You can print this out at home, and you'll have your 4-page digest-sized adventure. You can just slip into your Swords and Wizardry box and run with it. So I'm excited about that. Mike's been chomping at the bit once we started talking about it.
So last week when we talked about the free dungeon generator, I'd kind of forgotten about it. What's the company again that makes these, Eric? I always forget the name of the publisher.
Hold on, I gotta find it. Okay. What? You know what? Here, I'm gonna just put the link in the chat. How about that?
The little 6 to 8 page, you just push on there and they just print out these little dungeons. They're absolutely yours. You can do whatever you want to with them. You own these once you print them out. The names are just kind of suggested names you can use for them.
Right. And here's the thing: like you can toggle
just
through settings.
Yeah, you can toggle settings.
You don't need to have those names come out.
Nope.
You can adjust the orientation of the map.
You can do it grid. You can do it dots. Yeah. You can do numbers, not numbers. I went ahead and printed out a dozen of them. I have already created 3 small 6 to 10 room dungeons. Is pub crawls the name? Are we going to call it pub crawls?
Yes,
I love pub crawls. I love that.
I actually have the logo already done and ready to go, and I've already heard people go, no. What if somebody else? I'm sure somebody else has used pub crawls, but it's going to be pub crawls. We can always use 4 swords.
We'll spell it with 2 B's if there's already a pub crawl.
And
put like a crawl X or something.
Well, we can always make the C into a K if I need to. Whatever.
But what they'll do is, at least the ones I'm writing for right now, they're going to be all introductory adventures. There'll be stuff you can throw into this box. They'll be perfectly compatible with Swords and Wizardry and Swords and Wizardry Light. and you'll be able to pull it out, and it'll be a one-night adventure. They're like I said, they're anywhere from the one I'm working on right now is 6 rooms. Done some others that have been 8 to 12 rooms. Each have I tried to include a variety of monsters, different kind of weird plots, new magic items, new spells, all kinds of just I just threw in a bunch of stuff that would make it a little different. But they're really for something you can pull out and run as a one-session adventure at a convention, or for your friend, for your kids or for your friends. They're all low level though. They're basically beginning anywhere from 1st to 3rd level type adventures. Maybe later on, or maybe somebody else might want to tackle something that's a little higher level. But I'm going to make all mine very low level, because that is the one thing that we have a dearth of with Frog Out Games and Swords Wizardry. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of beginning adventures. We have Grimscape, which is a great adventure. Hall of Bones was a free RPG Day adventure. You can also download it. And
1975.
Yep, that's another one.
Lost City of Baracus, but that's not a short adventure. Then you got
Stoneheart Valley. Those are more campaigns and adventures. Those are really campaigns. So there wasn't a lot of one shot low level, and I was looking along the lines of when you first started playing D&D, you could always pull out something like Keep on the Borderlands, In Search of the Unknown, one of those early D&D modules, Village of Hamlet. Those were kind of go-to things, right? You pulled those out, and that's where you could run your low level party through. And that's why we have such a commonality of experience, a lot of the old school gamers, because everybody that you knew we all went through Keep on the Borderlands. Everybody went through Village of Hamlet. They all went through these dungeons. And unfortunately, as the hobby got older and older, we lost that commonality, because there's so much published material now. There's just tons of stuff out there. So you don't have the thing where everybody's played Adventure X. Some people have played it, some might have. So I definitely wanted to have some low-level type adventures that would be easy. And I'm looking at kid-friendly stuff for the most part, because I think kids are our future. And, and we want to make stuff for kids. And I love the Swords and Wizardry Light set. I just love the rule set. I love the setting. My grandkids love that setting. And so yeah, I've already got 3 done. I sent them to Eric the other day. I don't know if you had a chance to read through them, Eric, but they're all about 6 pages long, 5 to 6 pages long. Eric assures me we can scrunch them down.
I think you only sent me the maps though. So,
I sent you 2. I sent you 2 and 2 maps.
I only saw the maps. I'll double check.
Oh yeah. No, I sent the files.
I'll double check.
No, I feel terrible now that you haven't. You just thought I sent you maps and said, "Hey, I finished it. Look, here's a bunch of maps I did." No, but I did my 3rd one today. I finished that.
Awesome.
So they're ready to roll. When Pub Crawls gets rolling, these guys will be ready to roll. Nice. I think our price point's going to be cheap. Did we decide about a buck?
We're $1.
Yeah, like $1.
I figure what we're going to do is we're going to do $1, and then we'll bundle every 6 releases together as a bundle on drive-through, and you can get 6 for $5. So I think that'll be a way to do it. Timothy Johnson will continue Light 2 be digest size. Yes. With Jeff Jones doing the layout.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff has done the layout for Torchlight, both issues of Torchlight. And Jeff and I are pretty much partners on projects going forward for this stuff. So, yes. So, Jeff is already doing the layout right now. We're still waiting on James and stuff. But Jeff is doing the layout of what he has. We got to swap out art. But he's excited. I'm excited. It's just going to be good stuff.
I'm going to go back a little bit. Lou asks, as a publisher, where does the path to making a box set start? Do you go to your current printer about it? We actually did this through a printer that Zach and Matt know in Arizona. And they were very specific about what the specs were on this, because, as I said earlier, we wanted this to be a very sturdy box that was not going to fall apart, that was going to be able to be loaded up with books and moved around to tables, because we knew these were going to actually be used. Yes, you might have bought one to put on your shelf because it looks cool, but we also wanted to have one, have it so you could bring it around. So that we actually specially had these special printed up. Somebody else has something I was going to answer here.
Jeff snuck into the room.
Oh, Jeff Talanian. Oh, look at him. He's this guy's shameless. He's trying to pimp himself coming next week. Coming on next week. So yeah, just don't pay attention to this guy, man. This man just wants attention.
Jared. Yes, it is. It is. Now, when you go there, he has links to other stuff. He also has, I guess, like an outdoor island generator. You can do settings. You can do cities.
They're
towns.
Excellent. It's an excellent resource.
They're all free for commercial use,
and that's why we're doing it, because we're free. We're cheap. I'm cheap. And I've told Eric this before, and this is, I don't know if I'm the only person that is this way. Others of you might be like this. I am terrible at making maps. I just can't make a map to save my life. But if you give me a map, and I can't tell you all the D&D products I bought from third-party publishers that I just pulled the map out and made my own dungeon. I'm very creative when given a map and forced to think along the lines of what would fit in this dungeon. Why is that secret door there? Why is this a statue over here? I'm actually very creative in my mind putting that together. So if you give me a map, I can write you a pretty good dungeon. If you give me an idea, not a map, I'll be sitting there all day trying to make a map. And by the way, the map will look terrible when I'm through. It'll look awesome. I just can't do maps. So this kind of site is essential if you're going to write your own stuff and you're like me and you just can't draw a map to save your life.
Right. I have a lot of mapping programs. I love them, and I've gotten some good use out of it. And I also have one that's isometric, and I did my short dungeon, which had a privy in it, which was, I thought, awesome. But to be honest with you, anything I've put together using any of these great resources that allow me to put things out professionally as commercial use are dwarfed by the one-page dungeon generator. And here's the thing. I might hit refresh 6, 7, 10, 12, 15 times before I go, that map speaks to me.
Yep.
Saving that map.
I did the same thing. Yep.
And then and now something that they weren't doing before. Now they come up. You can have the rooms numbered. Before they were numbering locations that weren't necessarily room.
Yeah, so I have all the things. That's one of the ones that's numbered. It's one of the ones I did today. But yeah, that works out really great, because then I just sit there. I put rooms 1 through 6, and I started I start before room 1. My adventures have a one paragraph, not even one paragraph, 2 or 3 line intro about what's going on here. Then they have a paragraph that says, okay, here's how you get to the dungeon and what's there. Usually there's an encounter on the way there, or an encounter when you get to the dungeon, and it tells you how you get down to the dungeon. And then the rest of it, you just write what's in each room. But I tried to keep everything down to 6 pages or less. And I did a bigger font. So you probably could shrink. I think we'll end up shrinking those down to 4 pages, right? 3 or 4 pages.
Yeah. And, we're going to make it work. And listen, the vision I have, we'll see how this works out, is the front page of this is going to be the logo, some artwork that vaguely resembles what might be going on somewhere in the adventure, whatever I have in my stock art collection, which is famous. And the intro that Mike or whoever the author is has, the pitch, that'll be on the front cover.
Yeah, pitch. I got pitch.
Along with the author and stuff. Inner front cover. When you open it up, that left page is going to be the map. And then we're going to start the text of the adventure. There's space underneath that. Then the second page, then the verse page or the right page is going to have more of the adventure, and then the back page more of the adventure plus whatever stuff, new creature, new item, new spell.
I think about so if you remember Third Edition when that first came out. I think Alderac Publishing had these long, thin adventures.
I
do you remember
had
those?
a few of those. Yes, I do.
And they were like $2, whatever. And you bought it, and that's exactly what it was. It was the map. It was in the center page. You open up the center page of the map, and then they weren't very big. They were just only a few pages long, but it would have a 3rd edition adventure. Some were. I mean, they were better than others. They varied in quality. I thought generally they really weren't very good, most of them. But they did what they're supposed to do. For $3, you got like a one-shot little adventure that you could run your party through. And that's kind of the same philosophy we have here. These are just little one-shot things. hopefully what you would do is buy a bunch of them, print them out, throw them in your box, and then if you go to a convention or if you go to a game day at a school or a church or a club or whatever, you just kind of flip through them. Okay, I'm going to run this one, and you run one little introductory adventure, and that could lead to a larger campaign. It could lead to whatever you want. But it's just an intro to the game. It's an intro to the game for low level players that may be their first RPG ever. It's probably their first Swords and Wizardry ever. It's going to be simple. It's going to be easy. There's not going to be a lot of crazy rules or crazy monsters or weird stuff. I will warn you though, I have a tendency in my dungeons, and I've always done this, to put in a monster that is beyond the party's capability to defeat, because not every problem is solved by rushing in with your sword, screaming and swinging your sword at a monster. It's always good for low-level player characters to learn the art of negotiation, to learn how to plan something, and then sometimes to learn how to run away. You're not meant to defeat every foe in the dungeon. If you come upon, and I'll give you a preview, one of my dungeons, this is a first-level dungeon. It has a cockatrice in it. Well, I mean, it's like 6 hit die and can turn you to stone if it touches you. So if your party of 5 goes toe-to-toe to it, you're going to get wiped out. You're going to be finished. So what can you do? Well, there's several possibilities in the adventure I wrote. You could bypass it entirely. Now, the treasure's in that room. So if you don't want to get any treasure, you don't have to go in there, but you're not going to get the treasure. But there's several, and I give a couple of examples of what you could do, but it's up to the players. I mean, brainstorm it. What are you going to do? Okay, so it's on the other side of a large room. There's a 60-foot room. We could fire missile weapons at it, then run. And then hopefully we hit it a couple times and we could go on a merry chase the dungeon and set every level of adventure has to have in their repertoire. Molotov cocktails, right? Burning oil.
Right.
I mean, that's a tried and true method of, finishing off a foe that's too powerful for you. I mean, so there's any number of things that you could do. Well, I have tendency to include those type of monsters in my low level dungeons. Hopefully not there to TPK the party, but to get them to do a little table talk and decide, hey, we're second level. There's a wraith in that room. We've got one magic weapon in the party. Table talk here. How are we going to get the treasure that's in there? Okay, Milton, we got a bunch of silver coins here. Can we melt down the silver coins and make arrowheads? Good idea. Okay, there you go. That's thinking. Do we have holy water? We have holy water. We've got oil. Okay, there we go. We got holy water and oil. Hey, the magic user, he's got a magic missile spell. Boom, automatic hit right there. There's one hit. So yeah, thief, can you I can backstab a wraith. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, if we get him out of the room, he chases us. Thief, you're going to backstab him. Now, if you miss him, you're probably going to die horribly. But we're going to give you the magic dagger because we feel like you have the best chance to double damage this guy. So yeah, that's what I want. I want to encourage table talk and to get players all excited about, and then after they kill the wraith in their second level, they're like, we killed a wraith. We're awesome, because we thought that out. We planned it all out. Now, you could die horribly too. The thief could miss his, you could throw all your whistle weapons, miss. It comes after you. The thief misses his blow. Wraith turns around, takes him out. The fighter stupidly runs up and decides to beat on him with his non-magical sword. He gets killed next. The magic user begs for his life. The wraith strangles him. So yeah, and then you're all dead. But well, hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's the kind of adventure I like to write. I like to write a little. This may seem like it's too hard for you, but honestly, because I mean. Look, I'm as bored of having a dungeon full of goblins or kobolds as any other person. And that seems like when you have a low-level adventure, that's what the authors throw at you. And nothing causes my eyes to glaze over more than your standard kobold lair or goblin lair. I like to throw something a little more interesting in there.
You're making me think that low-level adventurers should go into dungeons with man catchers. Because then you keep the stuff at arm's length. If you can get 2 man catchers on them, you can act. Because speaking from experience, as somebody who went to emotionally disturbed person calls and has seen this happen, you get 2 man catchers on somebody or the modern day equivalent. and you can move them anywhere.
Well, honestly, low adventurers should use spears, and not just because spears are cool, it's because they poke long ways. And you should have spears. The same reason you have a 10-foot pole. You can poke things. Yeah. But a spear is great for so you have a 10 by 10 corridor. You've got your two dwarfs up front. They've got their axe. The guys behind them have spears, and they can also attack because they can poke past the dwarves into the thing. So you get 4 people attacking, not just 2. So yes, spears are useful. Holy water is useful. Everybody knows oil is useful. Burning oil is great. There's all kinds of little hints tricks and traps you can use in your first level adventures. The mage, after he throws his 1 spell a day, he should be totally involved in the party. He should either be throwing daggers badly because he's a mage. He should be throwing oil. He should be slinging stones. I don't know. Throw some harsh language at him.
Listen, when I ran a game at North Texas a number of years ago, Rach played a magic user for her first time. And after she cast her sleep spell, and she's like, "Well, what the hell do I do now?" I go,
I'm gonna go home. What are you guys doing?
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, I got daggers." So she's, "But I'm not going to get. I don't want to fight people face to face."
No.
She threw her daggers, and then she had no daggers, so she improvised. I give her credit for this. And she goes, "What are iron spikes? They sound dangerous."
They are. Well,
Well,
they're like lawn darts. Lawn darts are dangerous. So yes,
basically. So I gave her. You're -1 to hit, but there you go. Enjoy. You've got something. By the way, Bill Barr says that you're feeling pace setter ideas. No, he says it sounds like a pace setter adventure.
Yeah, hey, thanks for showing up, Bill. John. Oh, yeah, Jeffrey McKinney has published some AD, one of the adventures, Psychedelic Fantasies. These are great. If you've ever found these, I have these. I don't know anybody else that ever bought these. I actually have physical copies of these, which they don't sell anymore. They only sell the PDFs. But, I'll say it for Jeffrey McKinney. These are actually I don't know if they're written by him. I think he just collated them. These are great. Look up Jeffrey McKinney's Psychedelic Fantasies. They're awesome. They're crazy. They're like Lamentations of the Flame Princess before Lamentations was Lamentations. I give them my highest thumbs up. Those are pretty good.
I think I had 1 or 2 of those, but God only knows where they are in my mess of a collection, which is not organized, by the way. So
Jeff says one of my favorite techniques is a player's map that is incomplete, maybe has inaccuracy to do. What I like to do, Jeff, is I like to give them incomplete rumors. One of my dungeons here has the rumor that you heard about a magical sword being a dungeon. Well, let's just say there's not a magical sword in the dungeon when you get there. Wah, wah, wah. It's something else. But yes, I like to have rumors that don't, and that also teaches characters not to trust people. So when the drunk guy at the bar tells you there's a crypt out there in the graveyard with a magical sword, don't trust him. He's a drunk. He's drinking out of the spittoon in the corner. Yes, instead it's a cursed mummy. Well, yeah, because you were stupid to listen to.
He just wants to get a beer.
Why did you listen to him? He doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no clue. So yes, I like to include that as one of my tropes. Also, is that everything you hear is probably not going to be true. A flesh call for long dead mage. Damn, dude. Okay, Richard, that's I don't go that far. Now I might do something. I know that Ed Greenwood wrote a really good adventure once called Into the Forgotten Realms. It was a Dragon magazine adventure. He later on updated it and put it in his first gray box, the original Forgotten Realms gray box. But basically, the players, low-level players, first-level players, find this old magic school. As they're going through it, they find one of the teachers is still there, and he's a lich. But he doesn't know he's a lich. He still thinks he's a teacher. So it's actually a pretty cool way of having players interact with the lich without the lich just absolutely destroying him. The lich mistakes him for his students, and so he talks to him like he's still alive. And so the players have a really good chance to negotiate their way past him without any bloodshed, because first and second players have no chance against a lich. He's just going to meteor swarm him to death. But the way Ed wrote it, which is really cool, is they actually have a chance to interact with the lich, and then later on they can say, yeah, we basically made our way past this lich by, talking to him and pretending like we're his students and, this and that. And I guess if somebody was stupid enough, they could have tried to kill the lich, but that would have been really dumb. But I always liked, I do like that comes with my using a foe too powerful for the party. The party has to think past it type of thing. But I used to have this standard thing when I had first level adventures. When the first adventure I sent them against was they're in a town. There's an ogre bothering the town. And ogres are fourth level creatures, and so they're first level. And the ogre would live in a cave outside town. So I would tell the characters or the players, this is what your job is. They're telling you to go deal with this ogre, however you want to deal with him, but they don't want him attacking the town anymore. So it would leave them with all these possibilities. Now, they could go and they could negotiate with the ogre, and that could go wherever I wanted it to go. It'd be fun, So I got to talk in my ogre voice to the players and work out something like maybe he's just hungry, maybe he just wants a sheep every month, or every week or something. Maybe they could work something out. Maybe they want to kill the ogre. Well, he's in a cave. They could figure out some way to get him out of the cave and drop a rock on its head, dig a pit, whatever. But I always thought it was a really cool exercise because it got the party thinking. Teamwork. It got them thinking as a team. Okay, there's 6 of us. We're first level. Any one of us that goes against the ogre, we're going to die. But all together, we can think of a way to do something. We have spells. We have missile weapons. We have oil. We have brains. We can think our way out of this. What do we want to do? So I do like using that as little adventures. But you'll see that when you pick up some pub crawls. I have I'm going to write 10 of them. I don't know. What am I on now? I'm on number 3. How many do I have here?
I created a monster. Shit. See, Bill, you did not realize that you had this potential in Mike. All you had to say was...
All you do is give me a map. Just give me some free maps. Yeah,
give me some free maps, and this is what I can do.
But these are very easy. These are just an idea. That's the whole thing. Is these aren't a complete dungeon. These are just an 8 to 10 room dungeon. So they're really just, here's an idea. What are some cool encounters you'd like to have? What's some interesting treasure you'd like to find at low level? And then you just go from there. It's not like, creating a whole adventure like Bill does or Jeff does. That's an entirely different monster, And,
well, here, I'm going to tell Jeff something that he's going to like and not like at the same time, because it's a compliment. And at the same time, he's going to be like, but I'm only getting half. So I'm going to be running, by the end of the summertime, I plan on kicking off a campaign for my original game group from high school and college that I stopped playing back in '96. And they finally agreed that they wanted to play 5e because 5e is the new shit, and I always refused. And they've been trying to get going for the last couple of years themselves, and finally said, we'll play Swords and Wizardry, which is great. But I wanted to play Swords and Wizardry with a little bit of an extra kick to it. So, and of course, because Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers Hyperborea, now Hyperborea is currently being kickstarted, I thought of Hyperborea. Mm-hmm. And then I realized there's no way I'm getting my players to read anything that long. I'm sorry. I have one that will
lazy.
I have one that will read everything and then pull out stuff that I will go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and I will need footnotes because they'll capture everything and tell me everything they want. But what I realized is that I do have something that's a bit more stripped down, crypts and things, which is built on Swords and Wizardry. But all the adventures I am going to use for this campaign are all adventures that have been published by Jeff.
What?
For Hyperborea. So I'm already putting together, we're going to do it episodic, kind of. So once we wrap up an adventure, I will have the hook that goes to the next one, but it's not going to be like a sandbox, or I don't have the time. We're going to be gaming once a month. There's no time built into that to have a sandbox play, but I'm going to be using all of Jeff's adventures. Probably start with Racks on the Wall or something like that. So yeah. So and of course as we go through it, we'll be getting some write-ups. So I'm looking forward to it. So
I don't know. I'm a little worried because I read about Jeff's adventures from the 10-foot pole guy, and they're all really terrible from what he's.
Well, the 10-foot pole guy.
So Bryce says they're all bad. So I don't know what you're doing there, because Bryce said they're just terrible.
I think Bryce.
I'm sorry. I'm giving you a hard time. I'm busting Jeff's balls now. Absolutely busting his balls.
Jeff probably like, it's a good thing I'm no longer listening.
The guy has never given Jeff a good review on anything. There's a personal animosity there, which you should never. If you're a reviewer, you should never do that. You should always just grade something based on the content, not whether you like the person or don't like them. So anyway, so to wrap up our first half, we have this highly recommended. It's $60. We have them for sale now at.
But you're not going to get that cover. You're not going to get
this cover sold out. You're going to get the Syragos cover. Exact same content. It's just there was only 1,000 copies of this too. I can't remember. And the other one, but we have plenty of the other one. The other one's going to be our go-to version of the game from here on out. You can also buy the PDF of it. So if you look at the box, it's going to have all your books, Spells of Magic, Monsters, Player and Ref book, with all the information you need to play. All the charts are in there. However, if you buy the accessory pack, you're going to get a screen awesome. Which has all the hit charts. Yeah, it's real small. Really it's kind of cool. So I mean, it's not very big. It's not like a really big one, and it's like the box set is extremely solid. Which also has more monsters. So you because you never know, you might want to use a fake beholder. Oops, we can't say that. I'm sorry. It's called a Lunomorian. We might want to use a Lunomorian or a giant aerial squid because that could, a shroom, a pixie, an Otiug. There's Otiug in here. Oh. That didn't make the regular book. That's weird. And then also a beginning adventure, Baron's Gambit, and written by the great Matt Finch. And I've read through it. It's pretty good. It's not a big giant adventure. It's like, it's once again about 12 rooms or so. It's very, very old school. It's set in the village of Gambit, which is in the world of Cat's Cradle, which we had a Kickstarter of a few years ago. And I would like to recommend a couple of Frog God adventures or campaigns. One's Lost City of Baracus, which is an excellent campaign.
Just a real quick thing. My players, it's the only campaign I've ever played in where my players told me we have to call it quits because we're never going to do better than what we just did. So there's a dragon in here, and my players fought the dragon to the point we lost two party members irrevocably killed. However, they drove the dragon away from its lair. They raided what they could carry real quickly before running off. They didn't do a huge search. They just cherry picked real quick, and then they were like, "We're never going to top this. This is how a campaign should end. You beat the dragon, you chased it off,
you run the hell out of there. You run away
we can't do any better." And I got to say, they called that one right. I don't think you could call that one any better. Well, I love the Lost City of Baracus. So. And
then a Stoneheart Valley gets also a thumbs up because it's a very good low level campaign. Also, I would also obviously recommend Grimsgate. Grimsgate's a great little dungeon adventure, and I'm going to recommend Pub Crawls, even though we haven't published it yet, because Pub Crawls are going to be some nice little low level intros to the Swords Wizardry game. So when those come out, those will also be on the.
I would expect to see Pub Crawls this fall. Again, I want at least 4, if not 8 or more, ready to go, so we can have them out weekly for a month or two, and get a chance to really build up an audience for it. And once we have that out, we will seek, to get other authors, involved in the process. There's an idea behind this, which isn't just to get low-cost adventures to OSR players and Swords Wizardry players in particular. But it's also a way to get people who have good ideas, get your foot in the door, get yourself published.
Oh yeah! I didn't want to make it sound like I'm the only one writing pub calls. This is everybody. I want James Spawn. I want Eric to write pub calls. We want James Spawn.
I already am. Here's the thing. Yeah. We need to do it in-house to get the first dozen or so ready to go and out the door before we open up to submissions. Because first off, we're going to have to see what the actual word count is for these things. Mm-hmm. How much of an asshole editor do I have to be when it comes to this stuff to bring it down to the size that we need? And as Mike has said, and I will reinforce, we are older men, and our eyes are not what they used to be. So we need to have this at a size that we can easily read. You can easily read at the table. Listen, if I can't easily read a rule book at a table, that's one thing. I need to be able to easily read an adventure at the table.
Definitely.
So there is that. Spelljammer type setting for Swords Wizardry.
That's a possibility.
Very interesting. In addition to pub crawls, there was a project I had thought about doing a while back when Swords Wizardry Light first released, and it was the idea of doing what I was calling pocket settings, and see what kind of a setting you could get out in about 4 pages. Again, something short enough that people could work with it, and that stuff. If we would do something, when I say we, people like Mike and myself and other collaborators at the Tavern, that would have to be pretty much totally open content because you're only getting a seed. At 4 pages for a setting, you're getting a seed. So we would have to make it open so other people could build off it if they wanted to. But that's down the line. Let's not.
I will say part of the Frog God Games strategy is we're going to have supplement books that include classes, races, spells, treasures, and settings. One of the books I've actually edited, I've actually looked over. Ken Spencer wrote it, the great Ken Spencer. It is I don't know how much I can say about it. It's a planetary setting. It's a different kind of planet. And it's an entire setting in there. So, yes, we're going to do settings. I don't think we'd have Spelljammer in the queue yet, but those are the kind of things we're going to be doing with our settings books. They're going to be a whole different setting. You can just throw the digest in with the rest of the books, and it will be a different kind of place rather than your Tolkien elves, dwarves, hobbits, blah blah blah. We've seen a million times. Maybe you have a desert setting like Dark Sun. Maybe you have an ocean setting. We're going to do things like that. That's exactly what Frog God has committed to do in the next few years. Is add these type of things. You can do a rift on Ravenloft / Tainted Lands, right? This isn't just us. We're hoping that other people use the OGL and stuff to create their own Swords and Wizardry and Swords and Wizardry Light settings and or books. I've actually got some ideas myself. That's something that I might want to do that's not on the Frog God schedule that I'm thinking about doing myself as a publication. We'll see how pub crawls go.
Okay.
Now Steve said, will someone be running pub crawls at Gamehole Con? Why not? I'll be there. Eric will be there. We'll all be there. Sure. I won't have I don't have any scheduled games, but I don't mind sitting down and running a pub crawl. I'm sure Eric probably wouldn't either.
I'll be there. I've got my suite, and Rich and I have our airline tickets, and we just. I got to run. I have to prepare an adventure for ShireCon. So it's going to be.
You got ShireCon before anything. By the way, speaking of ShireCon, I sent Tom a gigantic box of raffle prizes of books.
Oh, nice!
Lots of Frog God stuff, lots of North Texas stuff, dice bags, backpacks, all kinds of stuff. So you should have tons of goodies to give away at ShireCon, and so definitely recommend ShireCon. Anybody that hasn't been there before, Eric's going to be there. I believe. Steve Marsh is going to be there. Steve Marsh is going to be there.
Steve Marsh is going to be there. Jeff Talanian will be there. I believe the Greyhawk Grognard will be there.
That's great. Oh, that'd be fun. Lots of Frog God represent. Oh,
should be there.
The Spawner.
Listen. He's serious enough that he has a room in the same bed and breakfast that Rich and I are staying.
Hey, Bree. So $8 shipping. Bree, if you don't mind answering in the chat, or where are we shipping to? If this is unfortunate, this is out of the United States.
It's not controllable.
Yeah, because you know why? The reason is because we have to put this in a flat rate priority box, which is $70. I believe that's $76. That's how we ship overseas now. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that. If you want to contact me, I can work out. Like I said, you can always get the PDF. And the way things are now, which is kind of cool, is you can print your own stuff. Lots of people print their own stuff. You could get the PDF and print that out. You can even have it printed out in digest form if you know a printer that can do that for you, which is not that hard to do. Unfortunately, we had to step back a couple years ago from our overseas shipping. We were just literally losing hundreds of dollars a month on it. We were losing money on it. It was not, with the state of shipping now, we were having packages lost. We were having just all kinds of issues overseas. We were having damaged packages. And what we do now is we do either print on demand overseas, which is printed out by Amazon shipping. And we've had a couple of hiccups, but for the most part, Amazon's printing is really, really nice.
Yeah.
We're talking about the books and stuff. Obviously, the problem is they can't print out a box set. So we can't have a box set printed on demand. If you get in touch with me, Bree, badmike3 at AOL.com, we can talk about that. I might be able to do something for you if you're overseas, or at least let me know your situation, because we're always looking for ways to try to help people overseas, even though we can't ship them most of our stuff. We're looking for ways to help them. I promote stuff all the time through Lulu. Okay, so yeah, you've already got the program going there. Yeah, go that route, buy the PDF. Yeah, we don't mind if you do that, obviously. But yeah, unfortunately, overseas shipping's just become I mean, I think I've told the story before. We had 1 week last year when we literally lost probably $500 because of lost packages that never reached their destination, and that's when we kind of pulled the plug on overseas shipping. And a lot of it was because it was pandemic related, we know, but it was just becoming cost prohibitive. Countries, because of VAT tax. I didn't even go into VAT tax.
Oh God, yeah.
Or value added tax, VAT kills you, because a lot of these guys would order $100 book and they get it and their VAT would be another $40, and there's nothing we can do about that either. That's your own company charging you tax on it. So, yeah, Lulu's a great idea for that. We'll just print out your own. Anything else you wanted to add about the Swords Wizardry box set, or Crawls or Torchlight, or
I want to throw something out.
Okay.
If you're in the chat right now and you haven't added something to the chat, I would suggest that you add something to the chat, because before Mike and I wrap this up, we're giving away a package of physical books. And the only way I know who to put into the random dice roll, and I'm making a list of names, and I've only listed, and right now we have currently 29 people in the chat.
Wow.
And I've got 20 people listed. So it means that not everybody has spoken up. So
yeah, you have to speak up for us to put you on the list.
Right.
Do you want to draw at the end of the show, or you want to draw now? Which one?
You know what? We should probably draw now. I know that.
Okay.
Well, let's give it a minute.
Okay.
So people can,
how many names do you say you have right now?
I have 21 names. So now, if somebody like David Thompson's going to bed, he's on the other side of the pond. If you're on the other side of the pond, you're not obviously. Frog God's not going to ship to the side of the pond.
I will ship a PDF. We'll do
right,
PDF.
Then. And I can get in touch with David. Otherwise, I know how to get in contact with him and make sure if his number comes up. But
all right, we have a bunch. All right, we're good. We have a bunch of people popping up. Good. When we get to 30, I think we can do 30. We can do a 10-sided die, and then yeah, we can do 30. 30 would be a good one to roll on. So we have a whole bunch of people popping up here. So what you're going to get is you're going to get a copy of the, by the way, now out of print, Stoneheart Valley. We don't make these anymore.
Out of print?
Yep, out of print.
Oh, wow.
And Adventure by Ken Spencer, Death in Painted Canyons. And I'll send a copy of Swords Wizardry Light also, just in case you want to play with kids or people who don't usually play D&D. My grandkids love this. This is our preferred version of Swords and Wizardry when we play or any role-playing game, because it's 4 pages of rules. It's only 4 pages. That's it. And so you don't have to remember very much. You only use a 6-sided, 20-sided die. It's great. But I'll send you that. If you're overseas and you happen to win, I can send you a PDF. And then you know what? If somebody overseas wins, and we'll just draw again until they get away the physical copy. How's that sound?
That works.
Overseas person could get a PDF, and then we can draw again. So,
well, we're at 25 right now. 25 peeps are on the list.
All right. Well, we can roll 30-sided dice. What do you think?
Peeps. Yeah, roll a 30-sided die. I think that this now would be the time. And if you roll above 25, it'll be a re-roll.
Yeah. Roll over 25. It's then we have to give it to you have to give me your OnlyFans number, and then I'll
I don't have an OnlyFans number.
Not you. Oh, God, I don't want to see your OnlyFans. No.
I don't want to see. I
want to see Lou's OnlyFans. That's who OnlyFans I want to see. You know, or Bill Barsh's. Bill Barsh has a great OnlyFans. Though, if you hadn't seen it,
all right,
take me off and go die 12. Because Bill doesn't want to have to win. Well, we'll just include you on there. If you win, we'll do the reroll, Bill. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
we'll keep you on there just to beef up the numbers, just so we can say we had a lot of numbers to choose from.
All right.
Did you get Jared? Did you get Jared too? Jared.
I think we had Jared from prior, but let me.
All right.
Yeah, Jared.
We'll make sure you got everybody.
Jared is number 15, so we had Jared from before.
You want to roll, or you want me to roll?
I don't have a D30 near me. So.
I got a D10 and a D6. So there we go.
There you go.
All right. So here we go. D10 and D6. Zach Glazer, you can't win if you're listening.
Oh, yeah, no Zach. No, well, he's not.
Oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to roll it in the lid of the box that I just did.
Oh, that way it doesn't go anywhere. You're so smart.
All right. 21.
21. Well, I know he lives in the States. And how do I know that? Because I have been interviewed by him, as have you. Number 21. And just so we can... oh, Jesus Christ. This is not working. Aaron the Pedantic, number 21.
Oh, Aaron, hey. Aaron the Pedantic. I didn't notice that. So Aaron has won a copy of Stoneheart. Yes, you're right. We were interviewed by him in North Texas.
Yep.
Boy, this is absolutely nepotism right here. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. So, I still haven't. Has Aaron posted that interview? I never did watch that. I want to see if he got my.
I watched it.
Oh, was it filmed or it was just taped? Right.
So, no, it's filmed. No, I watched it.
Oh, they give him a good.
No, I think we did well.
Side on there. All right, this isn't working out. All right. Anyway, so Aaron, get in touch with us. I think Aaron, get in touch with me through Facebook, and I will send this little package to you. Mail this out to you. Congratulations! Thanks everybody for watching us tonight. We have the second half of our show opening up. Yep. As Eric has now named the second half of the show.
This week in RPG Stupid.
Oh God, I love that. I love it so much. This week in RPG Stupid, and you know what, Eric? We've got a lot of stupid this week. We have a lot of stupid. All right, so which stupid do you want to cover first? There's a lot to go around. It's all kind of the same stupid, but you know.
All right. Well, here do we want to deal with the new stupid that is kind of.
Let's do the Chanel interview, stupid. Well, no, and Chanel's not stupid. This is based.
Oh, he was here.
Chanel's not the stupid part, but we're going to do an interview with. We're going to play part of an interview with Stephen Chanel.
Right, but before we get to that, actually, here, let's put things in perspective. We're talking about the Memorial Tomb campaign starter Kickstarter. Now, let me just scroll this up just a wee bit. Ernest Gary Gygax Jr.'s The Hobby Shop Dungeon, GP Adventures Castle and Campaign. Now, what is the elevator pitch? The Memorial Tomb Campaign Starter is Ernest G. Gygax Jr.'s opening module for fantasy tabletop RPGs in the Hobby Shop Dungeon series. All right. The name on the tin, created by Ernest Gary Gygax Jr. Mm-hmm. All right. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm seeing a lot of blame placed on one person as to why this project is late.
Well, let's back up one little bit. So, for those who don't know, $126,000, 1,200 people backed this. It was huge. The problem is, it's now it's now 5 years late. There was really no hope of it ever coming out. Troll Lord Games stepped in, very graciously rescued it. They actually have it printed out and ready to roll.
Yeah.
But it's this is one of those dungeons that suffered from stretch goal bloat, and just had so many stretch goals that were so intensive. And really, the only two people working on this project were Benoit and Ernie, and there was no way they could do it all. It was just too much. So the PDF has actually been released. There is actually a PDF. It's been released. But the actual physical copies that the backers have are supposed to get is Troll Lord Games is going to fulfill that, but there's some issues with that, and which we're going to talk about. But this has been kind of the sword of Damocles hanging over Ernie's head for the past, I don't know, 7 years or so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is listen, it's painful. Now, I backed at 150, and I backed at 150 because I'm in for 100.
I'm in for 100 too. So
I believe back in the day, this is back when Kickstarter was still pretty much the Wild West, or it was gold prospecting. Everybody was winning, right? Backers and creators were winning. I will say this, and this is going to be a compliment to Ernie and Benoit. They did not put this money that was raised, $126,000, less Kickstarter fees, less credit card fees. They did not put this money into somebody's personal account.
Yeah, okay. We will always give them props for that, no matter what we say bad. Well, not bad. No matter what we criticize them about, we will never criticize them about that. Is that they did the right thing. That is done. How often do you think that's done, Eric? Like 10% of the time, 5% that somebody actually does it?
Again, this wasn't like being created by GP Adventures Publishing Company. It's Ernie Gary Gygax Jr. on the tin. So you would expect the money to go into a personal account. It's what a lot of people do. And they didn't do that. They put it into a business account. I knew this, and I know this because years ago at GaryCon, Ernie showed me the bank statement showing me that the money was, for the most part, still there. There were some expenses incurred, but the vast bulk of the money was still in existence. So that says that there was some business common sense put into this. However, there wasn't any kind of production common sense put into this. In my opinion, they promised way too much. Way too much.
That was by the way, that was very much the time when you had people really over-promising on stretch goals. Now, if you look at Kickstarters now, you notice the stretch goal situation is much more realistic. This was back when people thought, "Hey, I need to have a stretch goal for every $10,000 or every $20,000. Otherwise, I lose their attention, I lose their interest." And so you had some of these, and of course, this campaign went to $126,000. It gathered a lot of stretch goals. If you look at the page, way more than two people were ever going to finish. And that's the one thing that gave me pause.
Here. We're going to go to stretch goals right now, folks.
It's crazy.
Now, and it wasn't every 10,000. It was every 2,500. And then it was every 3,000.
Yeah,
and then it was every 4,000. Then it was every 5,000. But here's the thing. There are things that you are never going to see because it is pretty much impossible for this stuff to get done. Why is that? Well, it's going to be interesting because Steve Chenault will tell you why in the bluntest terms, because he did a Twitch Ask Me Anything last night or the day before. But we're going to go to the update on Memorial Tomb from yesterday. This is on the Kickstarter. Now, just so you know, Troll Lord Games is now, like Steve Chenault, his name comes up on the Kickstarter page. Because Troll Lord came in and said, we're going to take over. Why could they do that? Because Mike and I explained, the bulk of the monies was still there. So Troll Lord could come in and they could offer production and organization and the ability to print and get this stuff done without losing money doing it, but probably losing man hours, I guess you could say. So, this is the greetings from Steve. Greetings from the dens. It's been a while since our last update, but this is largely because we've been pounding out the final touches and shipping a bunch of Kickstarters. The Starship Warden, not the least, and are about to launch our Robert E. Howard Kickstarter. But recently, we have been able to return to the Memorial Tomb project. Here is where we stand. The main adventure is printed and in the Troll Lord Game Warehouse. The box is printed and in the Trollord Game Warehouse. All 5 maps are printed and in the Trollord Game Warehouse. These are ready to ship. We have been set to release these via backer kit. Now, before we did that, I talked to both authors this past week and explained to them it is time for Trollord Games to move on. Deliver what we have managed to put together and leave the rest to them unless they could get the content to me in the next week or so. They haven't been able to get the content out in the last, 6 years? This thing I think was due when I retired back in 2016. So, all right, last 5 years. Benoit asked me to hang on for a bit longer, setting himself up an aggressive schedule to finish these, starting with all the appendices on Monday next, July 26th, and then a chapter a week after that until all is done, including the prismatic maze. We have agreed to wait for this. However, and this is when Steve goes bold, however, any missed deadlines will most likely trigger Trollord Games withdrawal, and we will begin shipping. At the end of the day, we all would like to see you get all the content promised. To that end, we'll make this last charge at the ramparts. Thank you for your patience, Steve and the Trollords. Now, not for anything, but there have been events going on in the OSR with the new TSR 3, and comments that Ernie made that make this very relevant. Because why are we now saying it's time to take this hot potato and get rid of it, close the books on it? Well, we're gonna go to the audio tape. I think I cued it right. We'll find out in a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta make sure the volume is all the way up, or else we might.
God help us on this.
All right, hold on a second. All right.
Fingers crossed.
Is it playing or not?
No, I don't hear anything.
All right, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Oh
no. I had a feeling. I got to change the sounds. Where my sounds be coming from. So. I mean,
it comes down to it. We can tell you what he said, but it's better.
No.
We want you to hear the sound of his voice as he talks about this.
Yes, because it's, all right. Yeah, it's not play. All right, so I have to play back through my Mac speakers. Okay, got to do that. So
if that works.
That should work. All right, ready?
Okay,
here we go.
For those of you who don't know, created by
you hear it right?
I hear
Dex and Benoit. Now his last name escapes me.
Did you hear that sigh? And Benoit.
Poor Steve. All right.
And it's this big thing from the old school stuff that they put out, and they never finished it.
They never finished it. Again, it wasn't because the money was spent on hookers and blow. We know that isn't the case, or else Trollord Games couldn't have come in and saved this.
They did it on Kickstarter and they never finished it. But Trollord Games stepped in to help them finish it. So the backers, there's 1,600 backers. It's a lot. It's $130,000. It's a lot of money lost, a lot of time and energy and effort from people who support Kickstarters for a variety of reasons. So TLG stepped in to help out. We've gotten the books printed, bound, done, and in a warehouse. The boxes printed, bound, done, and in a warehouse, and all the maps are printed, bound, done. Well, they're not bound, but they're done.
All right, so Trollord Games has taken what they have, and they're ready.
Yeah, they have. So they have it, and so I understand being part of a game company where Steve's frustration coming from is they have other stuff going on that they're getting paid for, like this the Jim Ward.
Starship
Warden, which is a gigantic book. They probably got that in the warehouse. They've got all this stuff going on. They need to get this out. It needs to go away so they still have the room to do stuff with. They just need it off the books. This needs to go away, and they've got it. What they have done, they have the basic, because they released the PDF. They have the basic book. They've got the maps. Yes, we're not going to get $100 worth, Eric, or $150 worth, but we're going to get something, right? We're going to get a box set that says Morocco and whatever. So from what I don't think he talks about it here, or does he talk about the kill clause here or not? I can't remember if he talked about this here.
I don't remember. Let's
Oh, yes, let's
hold on.
I know you'd mentioned it before, but let's see if Steve talks about it. I can't remember if he does or not.
Right. Okay. Hold on a second.
And in the warehouse. So I told, with everything that's been going on, I'm not even going to. I'll talk about it if someone has a question. But Ernie's craziness with his extraordinarily rude behavior that he had.
There you go. If you want to know why this has come up now, why it's like this is a bag of shit, or this is a hot potato, this is something that is potentially toxic, and we got to get rid of it. Steve just said why right there. He stated it.
Ernie's behavior with TS, the new TSR, yes.
You know, that is the reason. Now, why is that? Because there are people who are coming out and they're saying, I want my money back from the Memorial Tomb because of Ernie's comment, and they want that money back from, I'm pointing the wrong way, but in any case, Troll Lord Games, because now Troll Lord is associated with the project. Troll Lord's not making money off this. Troll Lord is doing something.
No, they're not. They're helping the community.
You know,
this is a community. This is extremely. I'm going to speculate here, and I have not talked to Steve about this, and I'm just absolute speculation. But these guys, Troll Lord Games, loved Gary Gygax. He was a personal friend of Steve's. He was a personal friend of most people at Troll Lord Games, and I think this was their way of helping the memory of Gary by helping out his son. I'm just totally speculating. But I think this was part of the reason they stepped in, is because they saw this was not going to be completed. And they wanted to help out the memory of Gary, and this by pulling his son out of a crappy situation. So I think that was part of it.
Yeah. So let's continue. It's.
We'll just put it that way, and then the insanity that ensued from those people he's working with.
Again, so now this is just TSR in general, right? It's the association, and when he's talking about that, he's also inadvertently saying we're getting associated with it by being involved in this project. We're getting hit with that same mud, and there's somebody out there to go, oh, this is more TSR bashing. No, this is a company trying to do the right thing for the gaming community, who is trying to also not drag themselves into somebody else's mess. Okay, the TSR mess is its own mess. It's annoying and sad that Troll Lord Games has to get brought into that.
Yeah.
In any case.
We'll put it that way. I'll just leave it at that. So, whatever. That told me that he's moved on from the Memorial Tomb and he's not going to finish it. And
now, again, it tells me Ernie has moved on from the Memorial Tomb and is not going to finish it. All right? That is saying a lot. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but as far as I can tell, after Ernie's hospitalization, he pretty much wiped his hands of this project. Benoit has been running with the ball as best he could, and I don't think he was equipped to run with the ball in this manner. I don't think either one of them probably.
Yeah, not the amount of work here. There was a huge amount of work here, and just no, not the amount of work that these guys were expected to do. So,
all right.
We've been doing it for 18 months or 2 years. So I reached out to him and Ben and said, listen, we're going to cut bait. We've got all these books done. We got the boxes done. We got the stuff done. You guys are clearly checked out. And I don't want to quit stringing these guys along and backers. And I don't want to put more of TOG's energy and effort into it because we got other things to do.
Again, they've put nearly 2 years of their time into this project. It isn't their own project. And they're probably not out of pocket in the way of saying, well, we're printing this on our own dime. but they're out of pocket, but they're putting man hours into this project to get it out the door, and they're not seeing the same from Ernie and Benoit, and certainly the way Steve is saying, definitely not Ernie. So I mean, if the people you're trying to help aren't putting in equal effort, why would you continue? Again, as he said, cut bait, move on.
But Ben wrote back and asked if he put himself on a very stringent deadline, if we would consider to continue doing it. And I said yes, but it's got to be a stringent deadline, and if you miss it, there's every chance in the world. If you miss one, there's every chance in the world that we're just going to back out, cut bait, shoot, and send it back to you. So he set up this deadline, and basically it's on Monday next. He's supposed to turn over all the appendices, and then each Monday after that, he's going to put out a chapter. I think it's 6 chapters in total.
So 6 chapters, 6 weeks. They have, and again, I'm not looking to bash, but if you had 6 years and you couldn't get these 6 chapters done, I don't think the next 6 weeks they're going to give it to us.
This is a kill clause. This is exact. I listen when I saw his post and when I listened to this. This is exact what this is. This is a kill clause. What this means is we pretty much know you're not going to make this deadline. We're ready to ship the minute you miss it. We're shipping, and so they're giving Ben a. I don't know why Ben's doing this. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't understand why he's doing it, because you're right. He's had 6 years to do this. It hasn't been done. Just at this point, just say, look, this is what we got, and we did this, and anything else.
I know you're talking like I can't hear you.
Hold on.
All right, try it now.
All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Huh?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. No,
okay. No, did you hear the part where I was? Yeah. So yeah, this is a kill clause.
Yep.
He doesn't think it's going to happen because Ben had 6 years to do this. Hasn't been done yet. I don't understand why Ben's doing this. If I were him, I would just say, look, here's what you got. If there's anything else to come out, you can just put it on PDF and Ben can release it himself later. I don't really get this at this point. Everybody involved just needs to praise the gods that TLG stepped in, because I honestly don't think this would have ever come out, Eric, without Troll Lord Games.
It wouldn't have.
I don't see any way this would ever come out. It would have been. It just would have been floating around on Benoit's computer to this day, and people would have been getting more and more angry and more upset, and it just would have been. It would have got worse and worse. I mean, really. I mean, if you're happy Memorial Tomb comes out, you need to buy something from Troll Lord Games and give thanks to the Chenaults and just Troll Lord Games, because this would have. I can absolutely guarantee this would have never seen the light of day without them. They absolutely white knighted this project, and so
certainly
him giving Benoit 6 weeks is just basically being nice to Ben, because
it's not even 6 weeks. It's literally a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I like Ben, I like Ernie. I maybe the first week that crunch time is hit, but beyond that. I don't see it. I don't. Let's see if there's anything else that Steve has to say about this.
All right.
Of course, after this, it's after the hiccup. After the hiccup, it reverted back to.
We're geniuses. We're geniuses.
Well,
do it. Well, was there anything?
Now it should work.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's expansion and something else, and then there's some kind of prismatic maze, I think is what it's called. And then it's done. So the idea is, at this point, we are going to stick with it, but he's got to meet these deadlines. And if he misses these deadlines, like as not, I'm going to pull it. I don't want to strain the backers along. I'm tired of that. I don't want to be a part of that. You know, we've done.
I don't want to be a part of it. All right. And again, part of I think a huge part of this is that Ernie is now no longer someone that you want to be associated with on a professional level. That's just, I mean, that is the issue right now. That could change. I think Ernie can rehabilitate his position within the community when it comes to that. But right now, if you're a publisher and you're looking to get money and make money out of a happy community, what was a great way to make the community happy is now going to make a part of the community, confused at best. So I really feel bad for Steve. The position.
But by the way, Steve also posted. If you look at the comments page and the updates, the Kickstarter, somebody asked like, "Hey, what about all these million stretch goals that came out? Am I going to be getting all that too?" So Steve answers, and Steve says, "Look, we're just sending out the main book and the maps in the box. That's all we're sending out. Anything else is the responsibility of Ben and Ernie." So he's tossing the ball, the hot potato, right back at him and saying, "This is all we have." And so we're producing this. Nobody. If anybody blames Troller Games, shame on you. Shame on you. So they're doing what little they did just to get it out to fans, and that's awesome. But yeah, if you shouldn't expect one single stretch goal to ever see the light of day.
No, no, you can't, because again, the money is going to be gone after this, right? The money that was left is putting this out. The reason why Troller Games could do this, and the reason why nobody is saving City State of the Invincible Overlord, is because the money was still here. Mm-hmm. So yes, you've got to pay with man hours, and Troller Games was in a position in which they could afford to do so. I guess they saw something in their schedule which allowed them to do so, but they didn't have to put out 30 or 40,000, which my understanding, from having spoken with somebody who is knowledgeable as such, a publisher in this industry, estimated that the cost to have saved City State of the Invincible Overlord, and this goes back about 3 years when we had this conversation, would have been $30,000 to $40,000 just to get it out the door. So you're not going to make that up.
Not only that, but Overlord, from what I understand, people that know this would have to be completely rewritten. In case Moral Tomb was Ernie and Ben did that. I mean, it's written and ready to go, and so they just had to edit it and put it in layout and put it in a publishable form along with the maps. City State is a project that would have to be torn down to the very rivets and studs and walked back up again. Nobody in the business wants to handle that, especially not after stuff that Bob Jr. has said the last few years. So you're not going to see. You're never going to see that one.
All right, 35 or 34 Kickstarters. We've been late on 35 or 34 of them, but we've always delivered, and we usually deliver more than we promised. We always deliver more than we promised. So I don't really like the idea of stringing backers along, and people tie a lot of money up in these things in 5-6 years. I think it's 7 years. It's just been way too long. It's way too long. I had a VOD of my first stroll through the Stars.
All right, so that's pretty much Steve's take. I mean, I listened to that, and I was like, well, first I was like, Mike, you got to listen to this, and here's the point, you got to listen to it from. And I'm like, you know what, we got to share this on the show because it's insightful, and you can literally hear the frustration in Steve's voice, and
because Steve's a professional, he's a publisher, and this is not the way things get done. And he actually mentions later on in the video that he approached Ernie early on in this and said, "Hey, do you need any help get this out the door?" And he was brushed off, and Ernie said,
Actually, from what I heard, it was this: when Ernie was talking about this project, Steve was like, "Hey, Troller Games has experience doing Kickstarters. Do you want us to do the Kickstarter for you, and you and Ben do the content?" Kind of like what they have done for Jim Ward. And Ernie was like, no. Ernie just wanted to know questions about, rightfully so, how to get a business account and all this stuff, but some of the logistics. But I guess, in all honesty, if you're letting Troller Games run the show for you, Troller Games is going to take a part of your profit.
From the very beginning, though, Eric, I never understood how they're going to ship this stuff because Ernie has no experience with shipping. Ben has no experience with shipping. this was a pretty big project. They had a lot of backers. I never understood how they ever thought they were going to ship this stuff. I never understood that. I don't know. I thought at some point they might bring in some professionals, but to turn down shipping, did they think they were going to pack all the boxes themselves and get that out there? I don't know what was going through their heads.
First off, who would have shipped it? Benoit can't ship from Canada.
Not from Canada. Not if you want to lose, $100,000 or whatever. Yeah. No, yeah, that wasn't.
And Ernie's not going to.
Ernie's not going to do that.
No, he hasn't done shipping probably since he worked at the hobby shop back in the day. I mean, again, these are things. A project like this, if you looked at it today in 2021, with the experience that Mike and I and for the rest of you have vetting Kickstarters. You would have looked at it and said, "Ooh, this is going to be real big. Yeah, maybe I'll avoid it."
Yeah, honestly, if this came out tomorrow, I wouldn't back it. I wouldn't put 2 cents in there. I might back a PDF of it because I would, with what, like Eric said, what we know about Kickstarters now. I'm working for companies that do Kickstarters, and just everything that's changed in the last 7 years. We would know this is never going to come out. It's a vaporware project. There's no way that 2 people can get this entire. I mean, say this one thing for Frank's failed Kickstarter. At least he had like 8 people on board, or however many people he had on board before they all quit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but I mean, this was always just going to be Ben and Ernie, and I'm sorry. This is a lot of work for a company, much less just 2 people. There's no way this was going to come off, and we were all excited 7 years ago. We're like, oh, this is great. This is going to be the Memorial Tomb and all, and yeah, it's really sad because I will say Ben is an excellent writer. I've seen some of Ben's stuff he did years and years ago. He's a really good writer. He probably, like most writers, I think he needs a demanding deadline and editor, and this project was too wide open. Yeah. And this is what happens, and this happens to a lot of these people like Gareth Skark and that who are used to working for companies, and they go off on their own and they think they can do everything on their own, sitting over you, whacking you on the back of the head whenever you don't hit a deadline. And you need deadlines, and a lot of these guys cannot self-publish because they don't have. I mean, a guy like Jeff Talanian, yes, he can. A guy like Bill Barsh, yes, he can. Guys like Ben and Ernie, no, that they don't have that. They just can't do it. They can't self-publish, and so that's what happened with this. It just was a huge project that grew beyond what 2 people could do, and then delays started, and then we heard the usual excuses about. I mean, Ernie was hospitalized. He's dried out. I mean, he's had all kinds of things happen during the last few years. And Ben's had all kinds of things happen, and that's just what's going to happen if the project takes too long. Right. You're always going to have things happen to you. They're always going to have things pop up.
Yeah, and that's the reason why today people expect these projects to be written. You're kickstarting. Written,
yes.
You're kickstarting. What are you kickstarting? You are kickstarting art. You're kickstarting layout. You're kickstarting production, but you're not kickstarting the actual writing. The production, the product itself is ready. It just needs to be put into a publishable format, as opposed to, I have this great fucking idea, and this is going to be fucked up.
Nobody does Kickstarters like that anymore. And Eric and I have talked about that time and again. Nobody does that anymore, which is one of the reasons why Frank's Kickstarter failed, because it was all going to be, I haven't written it yet, but I remember that great line in Frank's Kickstarter where, well, I can write 8 hours a day for 4 days a week. And we were like, well, no, you can't. Something's going to happen to you. That's all. These guys always say that. They always say that, oh, yeah. I'm going to just write my little ass off. And then their dog dies and their wife gets sick and a kid goes to college. I mean, and their car breaks down and all this stuff happens. And yes, it just never. That's why nowadays the standard for Kickstarter is I have a finished product. You're doing a pre-order, and this will get, and your money will basically give me. That's what I need to get this published is your money. But here is the manuscript. I'm showing it to you right here. Here's the manuscript, and here's the artwork over here. And I just need the money to put it all together and put it in a book form and send it to you. I don't need to write anything anymore. It's all done. And that, unfortunately, this is from the wild and woolly days of the early Kickstarters when, hey, I have this great idea. Let's publish my Dungeon Hobby Shop dungeon, that's not really done yet, but, we can get it done. And by the way, let's throw on 35 other, 35 other.
God.
I had forgotten how many add-ons there were. Dear Lord, there were some add-ons on that.
Yeah.
Like you said, every $2,500, nobody does that.
There was a White Star.
Nobody does that anymore.
There was a White Star stretch goal for James Spahn to write like a 4-page conversion for White Star. I mean, what the? So, now we got to go on to the real stupid. Are you ready for the real stupid?
Oh, yeah. This has got. So I'm gonna say this has something to do with the new TSR. Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. Yeah.
All right. So Wonderfilled. This is when Wonderfilled becomes literally what the fuck. Okay. Did you see the news? Hasbro fans can attack us all they want, but this show was created by Gary Gygax and his son, Ernie Gary Gygax Jr. You can't try to cancel the man and his firstborn son while keeping his game and rebooting their cartoon. It's quite frankly disgusting behavior. We expect our players to be more civilized. Or are you? And it's about the fact that the new Dungeons and Dragons adventure will bring back characters from the 80s cartoon series. So I don't know how this is. First of all, I don't know how Hasbro was canceling the man and his son. But
first of all, if you read the article, it's not even what he's talking about. He doesn't even know. He never read. Deinhardt never read the article. He saw this blurb, and he ran off half-assed like he does everything, because the article is about how they're bringing back they're not even bringing back these characters from the cartoon. I think they're bringing back Warduke and something else. I mean, it has nothing to do with rebooting the cartoon D&D. It has nothing to do with that. So he's going off half-cocked to begin with on this stupidity.
Well, but that's nothing new for Deinhardt.
No, not at all.
And
not one bit.
Wonderfilled.
No. Yeah, not one bit.
I saw this. This was sent to me, and I literally responded with WFD, because that's what Wonderfield's logo is now, and I was like, WTF. Like, what the fuck?
Well, it's nice to know that our summer it was entertaining, and then it got boring for a while, but we're back to entertaining again because they're back. Wonderfield's back, and Deinhardt's back to saying really crazy, nutty, half-cocked, not thought out stuff. So
right, and it's funny because TSR3 for the most part has been very quiet on social media.
You haven't heard anything from well, us and Ernie, since they got the C&D, just speculation or whatever they got, they have not said a word. They've been just absolutely, muzzled.
Right. So now here's the thing. Now they inferred TSR when they said it. All our prior comments and postings on social media should be considered invalid, and it referred to everything but Deinhardt. And it kind of inferred that Deinhardt had been in charge of their social media.
Right.
And I am not saying that is true, but shit like this certainly makes it plausible. I'm not saying probable.
It has a very. The tone sounds very familiar, doesn't it, Eric?
Yes, it sounds like some. You know what? I am not a medical professional. I don't work in social work. I'm sure I could have Rach look at this and she could give us a professional opinion on the issues that the person that wrote this could be suffering from. All I'm going to say is there are anger issues involved in this. That's my unprofessional opinion. I am stating that's my unprofessional opinion. But yeah. Yes, TSR name is still being used. It's just not being used as loudly. It is quieted. And if you go onto the Discord server, apparently you're not allowed to ask questions about what's going on, because then you're violating the rules. So, not that Mike or I can join the server. We get down south not joining.
Yeah, I don't think I think we're gonna get bounced at this point. But yeah, this makes it more and more plausible that Steinhardt was the one handling social media relations, and now that Lanasa and Ernie have gone into their bunker, Steinhardt's back and just filling the Facebook pages with the same wonderful posts that we had earlier.
The void.
Yeah.
There's been a void of obnoxious, incoherent ranting against Hasbro, and I need to make sure I do it. So.
Yeah, so like I said, the tone. Somebody said we have the problematic disgusting again here. Yeah, that's what I meant by the tone. Seems very, very similar to some stuff we've seen earlier coming from the TSR Wonderfield, pages. That makes us think that possibly Steinhardt was the one doing the social media, and that's when Lanasa said that person no longer works here. I think he meant he no longer works for TSR. He's still doing Wonderfield and doing that stuff. He's not doing TSR media any longer.
Yeah, I think didn't Jim Ward have some weird post about how there was not a parting of ways, but they were taking our adventures in different directions. It was meant to be poetic, but it just sounded flat. But in any case, yeah, this is I mean. I am not apologizing to Justin Lanasa because he called me, what was it, obnoxious with a voice that sounds.
He wasn't wrong. Like, he never said, he didn't say anything was wrong. So I mean,
all right,
yeah, come on.
No,
your voice does sound like nails on chalkboard.
Almost
like that. It almost sounds like that. Yeah.
Almost like, not quite.
It does almost.
I got to work on my effects, but I will say this. Like I said, it is actually plausible that they gave Steinhardt the reins to all the social media accounts, and this is the man that, because he's the only one still ranting.
Yeah.
Oh God, and if that's the case, I don't know. Could you do legal actions if you were the offended people at TSR? Could you? I'm not a lawyer.
I wonder if this could get really ugly at some point. And yeah, Lanasa and Ernie step back and say, look, this is the guy that was handling all our social media. We don't want him associated with our name anymore. I mean, I think that's why, like I said, they're quiet now, and why they're not saying anything is because they want to put some distance. Well, this guy, he's lit the fire back up again. The fire had burned way down this little ember. Now it's like burning up again. And Justin and Ernie have to look at each other going, what the fuck? We just about ridden this out where people forgot about us, after Ernie's disastrous interview and stuff like that. And then here, Steinhardt is sitting here throwing poop against the wall again. Like, oh my God, certain point you have to learn that you're not going to say anything that people need to know to buy your product. You're not going to make it palatable in any better way by saying things like this.
Well, you know what? I have a feeling that this is the marketing strategy that Steinhardt has. And Steinhardt's marketing strategy is anger. And it's motivate the anti-corporate.
Yeah, people get excited about it. I've seen people get all excited and hey man, this is anti-SJW. It's going to be awesome. I've seen people get all excited. Like, you're right. It gets people burning hot, but you burn hot for a while. Then after a while, I'll tell you, Eric and I haven't even talked about this. When the next big thing's going to be is, let's see if they get their Giant Lands or pre-orders out. Because they've taken money from people. They're supposed to be out. I understood it said this summer, right? Sometime this summer. If we get to September, October, and Giant Lands isn't out, I wonder what we're going to be seeing at that point online, because that was said many times that yes, this will be out in August or be out this summer, and they took quite a few pre-orders. I saw online where people were saying that they wanted their money back because TSR was not running the Kickstarter anymore, and they thought the TSR was running the Kickstarter, was running the Giant Lands.
Right, and now remember too, Ernie threw Giant Lands under the bus when he said, "Well, the retail version of Giant Lands, not the Kickstarter version, but the retail version that was to be sold through TSR, wasn't quite at publishable quality." Now, for somebody who hasn't been able to get a project out for over half a decade, for them to say another project isn't publishable, that says a lot. Now, Robus, Preston Nichols from Montauk Time Warp. I don't know that reference, but I'm a New Yorker, and I'm sure the New York accent comes through pretty strong, at least compared to a good Texan like Mike. So, yeah.
I can sound more like Texan, y'all, if I have to. I mean, I don't want to, but I'll say one thing about my parents. You know what's funny is when I grew up, nobody in our family talked with a Texas accent or with a Southern accent. So myself and my brothers grew up we didn't really speak. I guess you have like New Yorker, we have Texan. We didn't grow up speaking Texan like all instead of oil. Right. You say all, and y'all. And although I do say y'all's a useful word, but
yeah. All right. The reference by the way is to Montauk, Long Island, and yes, that is the far tip. I've been at the Montauk once, and it's a shorter trip for me to drive to the Pocono Mountains than it is to drive to Montauk. And I think the Poconos are a bit more exciting. But New York State is so big, we have different accents. If you're from northern New York, it's different than even New York City. I'm from Queens. Yeah. My father grew up in Ridgewood on the border of Brooklyn, and he had such a one of those Brooklyn accents that he actually took speech lessons when I was a kid to get beyond his Brooklyn vernacular and such. So God bless him for that. Now people be like, "Oh, that's cool. You sound like you're from Brooklyn." Now nobody wants to sound like that.
No. You got to get that slang and that twang out of your voice when you Texas if you go to other countries. Although, you're fixing to do what? Well, I'm fixing. I mean, because I still say fixing. I still say y'all. I mean, there's things. I don't say howdy. I don't think anybody says howdy.
Howdy, all.
We say dinner instead of supper. I mean, things like that. We say Coke instead of pop. But yeah, the draws, dad gum and over yonder and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I don't do that. I don't play that game. But
well, that's okay. You're not required to, Mike. We'll accept that. So,
anyway, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
I think we did a pretty good job covering the stupid.
Yeah, I'm excited about the summer now. Now that we have Stoneheart and Wonderfield back, I'm excited because every day you wake up, there could be a new faux pas on their page. So I'm, I was kind of, I'm not going to mince words, Eric. I was kind of down the last couple of weeks, knowing that they'd shut down all their Twitter and Facebook, and I was a little down.
Oh, I like John Miller's comment. So Wonderfield is now positioning itself as the company formerly known as TSR. Oh, God. God help us, each and every one of us. Listen, it's a gift that keeps on giving, and I have to be appreciative of that. But listen, and that's the reason why we are going to be doing This Week in Gaming Stupid. Because...
Yes.
And depending on how you parse it, This Week in Gaming Stupid, This Week in Gaming Stupid. I mean, we can parse that a lot of different ways.
Oh man, it's going to be great. It's great because it kind of covers everything we, instead it's not just WotC related now, and WotC's been they've been good boys for the last few months. So yeah, this is thank goodness TSR and Wonderfield stepped in to create this S storm. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll keep up with this. We'll keep up with the Memorial Tomb and see when Ben misses his first deadline. And at that point,
here's a good one. After this cast ends, all right, I would like you all in the comments section, not when this cast is going. After the cast is, come back in half an hour after the cast. Put into the comment section how many weeks do you think is he gonna even make? So the answer is 0 to 6. All right. And here's the deal that I'm gonna do: make a comment and just say 0 weeks. It means he misses it right from the start. 6 weeks, which means he actually gets to the 6th week. And how many weeks of this does he complete? It could be nothing to 6. Whoever gets the right number, it could be more than one person, right? I will randomly pick somebody and give away a $25 drive-through RPG Now gift certificate to the person who picks the right number of weeks that this project continues before the kill switch goes. And by the way, if Troll Lord Games says, all right, well, Ben missed a week, but we're going to give him another week, that's okay. That means it's when Troll Lord Games pulls that switch. So the 0 to 6.
It sounded to me like Mr. Chanel had a very short leash going here, Eric. I wonder if he's going to even give him a week. I mean, he'll give him the week, but he's not. If the minute Ben doesn't email, I think it's over because I don't think he wants to do with this.
If you think Ben's going to miss that first checkpoint, the answer is 0. Week 0. If you think he'll make the first one, then he made week 1.
Yeah.
And then all the way through week 6. And again, put in your comments in the comment section after this. Not in the chat now, because I won't see it. But at the end, put it into the chat after this has gone to its regular life as a video. And next week we will go through. Mike and I will pull a random name of somebody who. Well, actually, we won't know yet, will we? Oh,
no, we won't know. We're gonna have to wait a few weeks. Yeah,
we'll have to do it end of the summer. After the 6 weeks, Mike and I will pull a random name, and of somebody who picked the right choice. Of course, if it goes dead early, then that kind of cuts it off early too.
Yeah, but, I my numbers would need to be 0 or 1. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see how somebody.
I think I'll make the first one, but
yeah, I don't know. He might make the first one just out of. Okay, I'm going to get one done just to get it done. But I don't see how you can take this long to get something done and still not have it done, and then just decide suddenly like, yep, now it's going to all get done. I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening.
John, actually, I saw my doppelganger in Midtown Manhattan back, I think, in like 2005, 2006. I passed somebody in the street that I actually I stopped and turned around as I was passing him. So I went, I'm passing myself. And looked exactly like me. It was very disturbing. So Ben Juan's been posting about the progress, and maybe he's got enough done of the parts to be able to finish. It might happen. Then again, here, I'm going to put it this way. WKRP in Cincinnati. I thought turkeys could fly. Okay? It could happen, or we could just have a turkey bombing going on. I think it's more likely that we're going to have a turkey bombing going on. But
yeah,
like I said, after this wraps up, give me your comments, give me your predictions, and at the end of the summer, or sooner, we will pick a random person to get $25 in drive-through RPG Now gift certificate funds.
Sounds awesome.
We like giving away stuff.
Yeah, we do.
And this is goofy enough. We didn't plan this. This is me getting. This sounds like fun. Come on,
let's do it. Yeah, it's not our money. Let's give it away.
Yeah, it's just community money anyway. So I guess we've reached. I want to do like the Carol Burnett.
Next
time together to have a laugh. I wish I could actually sing it, but I can't. And I'm tone deaf. So
next week, Jeff Talanian, we'll go on the last few days of the Hyperborea Kickstarter. We're gonna talk to Jeff some more about stuff we didn't cover in last time we had him on. So probably more heavy metal stories about when he was all tatted up and he had long hair and terrorized the neighborhood when he was a kid. And no, we're going to ask about the Hyperborea Kickstarter, and it's going to be. We love having Jeff on, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff is always a fun person.
Yeah.
And again, I'll be able to tell him, hey, I'm going to use your adventures, but I'm not going to be using your rule set because it's just too crunchy for my players. Sorry, Charlie. But
if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps us out. At least we know.
Listen,
we love
we're
it.
pounding away. We're going to hit 1,000. We got things to do.
1,000.
So we're looking forward to it. We got other plans that we really haven't spoken much of, but it should be a really, really good time. We did 1,000. I think we're on pace to 1,000 at this rate by the end of the summer.
Wow.
But we'd like to hit it sooner. So if you can, subscribe, hit that like button, and comment. On that note, as always, neither Mike nor I are medical professionals. We're still in the midst of the world of COVID. I am not saying get immunized. All right. Mike and I happen to be. That's our own personal choices because we have comorbidities. But you know your medical situation. Talk to a medical professional. Ignore the talking heads on TV, on YouTube, at the bar. Ignore those. Talk to a medical professional that you have faith in. And listen, get their advice. Be safe. Be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I'll be back again tomorrow, and if you're on Discord, 9 p.m. Eastern, Tenkar's Tavern, we do a hangout, and you never know who's going to Mike might show up, Glenn Hallstrom. I'm there every week from Night at a Con.
We had a great conversation. Last week I showed up. We had a great conversation. We started out with just me and Eric. Nobody wanted to play with us, and then by the time we left, it was a pretty much a full house. It was great.
Yeah, no, it's really a good time had by all. Let's see. Friday night is shit. Was I with Glenn last week?
Yeah, Glenn was last week. Yeah, I just
all right. So myself and Joe the Lawyer live at 8 p.m. Saturday night, if the weather is pleasant, Rich and I will do our Gamers Health at 7 p.m. so we can do it live from the backyard. We'll stream it from the backyard, give a view of the backyard, and I'll talk about some health updates with myself and some stuff going on with Reach. And on that note, folks, thank you so much. And I'll catch you all
later, everybody.
Later.
Goodbye.